Hello, everyone. I'm excited. It's Monday night, and we are going to review episode 11. But before we do, I already have a comment up because I wanted to address something before we get started. But I also wanted to say hi. We got people all over talking about the weather. I know we're going to have a heat wave coming Wednesday in the South Jersey area. So we have friends in Alabama and Chicago and Florida. Where else? I saw all kinds of stuff. North Jersey. Um, let's see. Of course, we have more than one from Chicago, Ohio. We have a lot of Ohio friends. BC, Canada. Hi, Barbara. Um, so nice to see everyone. I'm excited. We have a lot to discuss, don't we? So before I jump in, here's the thing. It is, from South Jersey, there's Brenda. Iowa, look at all that. Hello, Carrie. Carrie, did your shirt come today? It should have arrived today. I'm going to have to go look. I don't know, it should have arrived last week, but I'll look at and see, but I'm pretty sure it was today. Anyway, I wanted to address, if you're new or maybe you don't come on often, on Sunday nights, I do for this season just the Lucas Bouchard fireside chats, just chats about Lucas, nothing else. And then on Monday nights, it's everything like I've been doing for years. Used to have a partner, Kathy, and she bailed out. She was done last season, but that's okay. I'm still here. So I want to read to you something that someone wrote. And here's the thing. I made a pact with myself and I check it every day or every other day at least to make sure. And there's a way to see if there's any comments that have not been answered because I want to respond to everyone because they've taken the time to, talk and respond to me. And I like to give a comment back. And I do read everything when I can. And sometimes that's hard because sometimes there's like 100 comments. But on a podcast from last night, I won't even call the person out, but they wrote, is when calls the heart all about Lucas or other cast members, or their other cast members? It seems like it's all about Lucas. There are other people that are in the cast so far. All you talk about is Lucas. This is When Calls the Heart, not the Lucas show. So move on. Now, this is the kind of stuff that I'm talking about. That people that do not pay attention, the thumbnail says Lucas Bouchard fireside chat, and it's the 11th one that I've done. And I wrote, "Hi, did you pay attention to the thumbnail? On Sunday nights, I only talk about Lucas. It's called a fireside chat about Lucas Bouchard. If you paid attention and if you listen carefully, you'll see I say that every single Sunday. And every Monday, I host one for the entire show. I guess you're not familiar with my content. I'd fact check before I make comments if I were you. Thanks." That was my polite way of saying, they told me to move on. Well, you move on. Anyway, yes, it is. You are correct. It is. Oh, I know, Sonny. That was my point. The person told me to move on. Oh, dear me. Okay. Yes, I know it's clear, but not to everyone. Not everyone pays attention. So, and by the way, you're right. I disagree. You can whatever you want on your I know. I get it. I get it. So this is just a nerve. And I think it was Margie who said some of the comments are mind blowing. I'm like, yeah, I want to read to you one of my comments I had today, but that's neither here nor there. So I want to start off with some happy news. I mean, it was like a Captain Obvious. How many of us said the wedding would be May and Mike? How many of us said that? Tell me in the chat. I think many of us said that. And I want to share this because this was so cute how they like Allie, she found all these cool places that we don't normally see on set. And they're beautiful and they're homey feeling. They felt even more real than the main parts that we get to see. And you know what? I have to say thank you to Star Watch Byline. I stole this off of their page. They shared it. It was their second one and they blew it up nicely. So I loved how they zeroed in, and I loved when I was gonna say Ben, but I know Mike. He proposes, and then he has his eyes closed, and he opens up one, and then he opens up the other to see what she says, and she's like, "Of course." And I like that the reason why they decided to do it so quickly. She's met his family, but her family's coming, and her brother's not going to be there often. I don't know. It just feels right. It feels sweet. We don't get a wedding every season, and I'm really looking forward to this because their whole relationship is adorable. And I'm excited for this. And then they zeroed out, and then we saw the trellis with the roses, which is so perfect. And even before I know, Carrie's saying, I love the flowers, how it framed it. Yes. And it was, Miriam, it was a beautiful proposal. And Ben was adorable in it, as was Amanda. And Sunny is saying it's a beautiful shot. Avis is saying the proposal was so sweet, and she didn't care that he didn't have a ring. I know, I forgot about that. And he's like, but I want to have a ring because it was like, and she's like, I don't even care because that's not what their love is about. Oh. And no offense, Kathy says, but right now I'm not invested. Maybe later. Okay. Her brother will probably give her away. I know. All right. So I love this part, and I'm very happy, and it'll be dedicated to something beautiful. Now, the like I was saying, just the way the cinematography was and the way it was directed, I didn't realize because I was rushing back. It was Father's Day, and I spent it with my dad, and I was rushing back, and I was trying to get dressed into my pajamas and watch the show, and I missed the credit part. I don't know if I was pulling a shirt over my head or what. And I didn't want to go back and miss anything else. So I didn't know till after the fact that it was directed by Peter and Deloise, who I love this man. He's amazing. There's a lot to love about that man. And Derek wrote it, and the duo is just the duo. They were fabulous. And I could see it because just the way they captured things and the way it was choreographed, like I was saying last night, it was like a dance. It was just amazing. Teresa saying Peter does such a great job directing scenes like that. Yes. Such a respectful relationship. Yes, 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 yes. Unless May's brother doesn't like her choice for a husband and they're ready to say I do, and he says no, and that's the cliffhanger. No, no, no. I don't think the cliffhanger, Margie, has to do with them. The cliffhanger, if I'm reading, I'm reading and watching little clips of the actual interviews, and I'm reading things that are valid, not just clickbait kind of stuff. I feel like it's directed somehow. It's supposed to be tragic news or something big, and I think it's directed towards Nathan and Elizabeth. I don't think it is someone else. So it's something that is going to cause angst in their relationship. They got to work for that relationship because not everything's going to be like hearts and roses. They get only hearts and roses, I think, for 2 episodes. Poor people. Anyway, we're going to get to that. Yes, he did a fabulous job. I used to live basically down the road from Christina. Oh, Chris and Christina, you're talking. I'm like, what? What are you all talking about over here? If that's okay, go right ahead. The cliffhanger is to do with, yes. Yep. Yes, Sunny. And I read that too. All right. So love the change of scenery. They are using the season as it is an amazing location. It has many options to film different scenes. Yes, Robin. Even like I mentioned last week, when Lucas sees Jeannette out of town and he's taking that little side road, the town looked beautiful. And I mean, it looked real. And he's like, yeah, she's like, what's so special? This is where you go and I leave. And he walks back to town. I love that. Maybe the secrets they share with each other. No, Margie, I think they get news. Some kind of news comes. And I saw the clip of them sharing secrets with each other, and it was cute, but I think some kind of news comes. It could be many things, but I got a section of tonight where we're going to speculate. The cinematography was great too. There was a lot of Lucas walking across the street, and then he sees Jeanette's car. I know, just everything of how they just did it all together, I thought was fabulous. So thank you, Peter, and thank you, Derek. It was like, I think, I always say this until another one comes along, but there are 3 that are my favorites, and this one I think is my favorite. So the whole fast pace of it, the whole part of how they handled the like we were all like, why would they make it some random person that we have no connection with. Oh, yeah, the rum runner is coming. It just was weird. It was a disconnect. And we've had some disconnects, but I just didn't like that idea. And I was so happy to see that there really was a connection and that it has to do all with Jeannette. Now, I know that Jeannette and Lucas did not start out. I know people like they're so shady. We know that this is not true because it was cleared up. Not everybody pays attention to the details. They can't get certain things out of their head. Even the showrunner and the character and the people who created those characters even said they were, especially Lucas was not, but they decided to change the storyline. The new showrunner saw a little gap and they ran with it. But what we get though is that Lucas really in his past life uh did some things that were not good at all, and Jeannette was still that way. Like when she comes back and he says, why are you still here, because he didn't even know she was there. It was, like you said, Henry who caught it. And she's like, trying to convince him money and just a little money and it'll be okay, and this and extra, like nobody will know, and just the whole little how she was going to launder money, that kind of thing. And he's like, no, that is not who I am. This is not what we're doing. And I was like, they just confirmed that Lucas, did have that kind of a past. I don't understand why. And I'm wondering if we'll ever find out why. And I don't know if any of you were paying attention. What do you think? Yes, she did, Martha, give an outstanding performance. I loved her. What do you think about the why? I love knowing the why in the background. Here's a gentleman who is born into a family that monetarily has enough, has been around the world, has had so many opportunities. We knew him as wanting to be loved, to have a family, to settle down. It was Jeannette who suggested that he move to Hope Valley because they have a conversation on the phone. And he says that to her when we first meet them. Why, what do you think could be a driving force when someone has a boredom, an adventure, that you would want to hurt other people and do illegal things? Like, I don't get that connection. And I'm just wondering, what do you think could be the drive? I don't know. It says Lucas did tell Jeannette that he wasn't that person anymore. Yes, he did. He did. He did. And she didn't want to hear it. And he even said to her, why would you come back? And she almost said like he was her addiction. Was Jeannette that cruel and scary a person that Pike and her henchmen were both so afraid of her? Apparently so, because they did exactly what she wanted. And I love that twist. And she's the person who took on an identity in a male world, and she used them as her cover, and was all over the US and then through Canada. So I don't know, I thought that was a cool twist, but I'm just trying to figure out why Lucas would have done what he did when he had all these other opportunities. They were very vague with what Lucas was involved in with Jeannette. There is no definite information about exactly what he was involved in. He hasn't seen Jeannette since before he came. Yes, but she described what she wanted to do now. And he said, no, I'm not that person. He said it, and she goes, wow, you really have changed. She said this in the episode last night. Go back and listen. And I thought, wow, they really, really are confirming that he, did some bad things. So I'm just wondering what the truth is behind it, or if they're just going to dangle it like that. They need to bring his parents in to hear his backstory. We did hear some of his backstory from his mom. I don't know. I'd like to know why, too, they are making it look like Lucas was in some bad deals in the past. Maybe the showrunner wants to make him look like he was bad and changed. Okay. I have many questions about Jeannette being Shaw. The Jeannette of season 6 is not the same in season 11. We know that. We know that even Lucas and Elizabeth are not the same. We've known that. I'm just trying to figure out and put my head on it. And I'm wondering if we'll get more info. That's it. I'm not disputing it. I'm not saying it's wrong or right. I'm just saying it is what it is. And I'm just left because I'm a curious person and I like to know the background. Here's why I like to know the background. When I write, it's important that you have a well-developed character. You have to know how they're going to respond. I remember when I first was in school for writing, and my one editor said to me, they have to stand up and speak to you. And I was taking a shower thinking about a scene. I may have shared this before. And I was thinking about shampoo and something else. And I was like, oh, Lexi, who was the character at the time, she wouldn't want that because of her hair and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, wait a minute. Like, it happened to me, that it's like the character becomes real. And Linda Lael Miller. She said in one of my chats, she's a writer, and they made a couple movies out of her books. She said that those characters become so real to her, and she's so inside her house writing her manuscript. When she's going to town to get the newspaper and mail and stuff, she's still in her head like they're real, that she sometimes misses saying hi to the neighbor or something. And I feel like, what happened? Why would Lucas, who they write to be wealthy and have this family that traveled all around the world and all this opportunity, and he was soul searching for something, why he would do something so rotten to people? Do you know what I mean? All right, I'm going to let that go. Lucas has been lonely his whole life. I feel like Jeannette drew him out in with her interest in him, and I think she spun her web around him back then. That's good. It was almost like he even said that she was a bit of an addiction to him, and then she said that about him in the end. Because remember, he was sitting there; she hadn't arrived yet. She's talking to he's talking to Henry Lucas, and he's like, "Yeah, I can't believe she's back in my life again." So, okay, they were just a bad combo for each other. The writers do need to clarify exactly what Lucas was involved in and whether or not it was criminal, because if they don't, we will forever have him painted as shady and bad and undependable. Oh, yeah. I just said something on one of the sites. I think it's your site, Deb. And a woman goes, he was always shady. He is the villain in big capital letters. And I was like, okay, I got to go. I don't have time to dispute this. One of the previous previews for next week's final episode, Lucas is standing by himself at the back of the room, and he looks sad, still, and lost. Okay. Maybe Lucas liked the fast life in New Orleans, but wanted to change, and Jeannette just got deeper in the shady life. Could be. All right. So anyway, I'm curious about that, and I would like to know more about it. So since we're talking about it, I just have to tell you, when they did the whole face off. And I mentioned this yesterday, but a lot were involved. Rosemary and Elizabeth and Lucas outside with Lee and Nathan and Bill. And then just the way they had it orchestrated, as the best word I could think of, where Lucas is talking to Jeannette and the conversation ends and it flips over to like out on the balcony, Nathan with Elizabeth with the fake shawl, and just the way the dialogue picked up one after the other. I love how Rosemary and Bill were still a team. And, Bill wanted to tell Rosemary, but he wanted to protect her. And Rosemary knew something was going on. And they kept saying, well, we need to tell Rosemary, but no, because Lucas doesn't want that. And we need to, Lee said it too. And I feel like they should have told Rosemary, but it was okay because she figured it out. And as she's figuring it out, Lucas had already figured it out. And I love how she's looking at the writing. Anyway, it's Rosemary who takes that gun that got, pushed out of the way, and she tosses it and just away for Bill. And I'm hoping that they have like more adventures together, because I love their pairing. And I'm hoping next season there's more investigating. I don't know how you all feel about it. But then how about how Lucas, I think this is the arc that they meant by being a hero, because I couldn't find any other arc. He stands and steps in front. He does not want Bill to hurt her. And Jeannette has the gun, the snub of her little gun, right to his heart. And he's like, I know you're not going to shoot me. And she knows it too. And she is just so frustrated and brokenhearted that she cries and she puts the gun down, and she knows she's done. He's like, why? Why did you do this? And she's like, he's like her addiction kind of thing. They were just a bad combo, right? Bonnie and Clyde were a bad combo too. Anyway, it was good. It was good acting. I loved how Jack Wagner act. I love how Chris was. I love Cecilia. I loved all of the, like, Kevin, Aaron, all of them together. Pascal. It was just good, and it was orchestrated, and it was beautifully written, and I loved it. Love that Rosemary and Bill shenanigans. So did I. He was so powerful when he stepped in front of Bill. It's true. He like took it on. Um, Lisa, would say, why doesn't Lee miss Rosemary when she doesn't come home and it's dark outside? That was weird to me. She was right there. They were all there. It wasn't that he didn't miss her. He could see her. He knew she was working late. I don't think, I don't think it was, I don't know. I caught it. I thought the way they did it, and plus the children were being watched by Allie. Don't forget that he was caught up in trying to help, save whoever they thought was coming when whoever they thought was coming was like already there. So I think it was just like minutes. I don't think it was like a big delay. Yes, he did. He owned that episode, which I like. I like that Bill patted Lucas on the shoulder when they were taking Jeannette away. Yeah, because they were a unit, all of them. Everything was good. So they took the opportunity, and people are like, why is Elizabeth in there? Because it was an opportunity to give Nathan and Elizabeth your adrenaline's high, to give a chance where he gets to save her. I love how they did it where he nods to her and they fall in the hay, which I told you was metaphorically a roll in the hay, which I loved. And it put them like they were, if you noticed, more than once, Bill says it to Nathan and Rosemary says it to Elizabeth, get the show on the road. They both said that in this episode. And it gave their bodies like an adrenaline rush, and you get that in your head and you're like, okay, let me just go make a change. And they did. And I liked it a lot. Bill's pat on the shoulder was the only acknowledgement Lucas got. Yeah, we're going to talk about that, Margie. Why would an upper class gentleman succumbed to his questionable former lifestyle? Could it be the ambition that Elizabeth's aunt had alluded to that could be either a good thing or a determinant? I don't know, Emerald. That's a good idea. That's a good thing for us to think about. When Sarah saying Brian Bird tweeted that Lucas facing the barrel of the gun was his way of facing the ghost of his past. He said it was his hero arc. That's what I said. I said that was the hero arc there. And I need more of a backstory now. Yes, Sarah, you're with me. You and I are on that same wavelength. That's what I said. I thought that was the hero arc. He steps in. He's the one that could make her reasonable, and he knew he had to do it, and he knew she wouldn't hurt him. And even if she did, he was willing to do it. And then now I need to know why. Why were they each other's like addiction? I think that's kind of interesting. I like Rosemary being portrayed with more substance instead of being so ditzy sometimes. Yes. And her with Bill is good. I know that was so great. Even the characters on the show are getting anxious that they get together. That was funny. I know. Okay, so now it drives that scene where I thought was beautifully written. And it was beautifully written because have Nathan and Allie lived in the row houses? Lisa, no, that's not new. They've lived in the row houses all along. We've seen the inside of their house like early on. We haven't seen their house in a while, but they've lived in the row house for a while. There's only 2 real row houses, and they have to switch them out to make do, like when they were having they stopped even filming that and film the Canfields more in there. When they moved into a row home, they have them more inside the not the saloon, in the cafe, but they have a row home too. And they would switch it out. I don't know if it was 2 seasons ago. And also Nathan and Allie have always had their cute little row home also. So anyway, getting to the part where Elizabeth finally, and I know I'm skipping a piece, but I'm skipping that piece for a minute, when they finally see each other at night. And I was like, I know Nathan has been in love with her. This is his woman. This is his person. From the time he met her, he fell in love with her. He's tried to date other people. She broke his heart. I said yanked his chain because come on now. And I did not want him just to be like, oh, you love me now. I needed for her to say something to him. And she does. She says, listen, I got to say this. And she got everything out. And what she said was beautiful. Now, if you are a Lucas fan and you love the whole storyline and how they fell in love, they had words similar to this. And I know it negates a lot of stuff, but we can't belabor that. We know, I always call it the record scratch. We know that it was different. So we have to just look at the scene as it was. And Derek wrote it, and Derek is so true to Elizabeth, and he pays attention to details. And Derek is not the boss. So Derek has to write within the parameters that he's given, and he does a phenomenal job. He was the one that had to write the episode and the scene where Lucas and Elizabeth break up. Now, again, people were mad because it was only so many minutes. He worked really hard on that. He was nervous. He talked about it. He wanted to do the best that he could. Unfortunately, it was a short window of time. He has to write within the parameters that he's given, like I said, and he tried. He really didn't. And he's never going to please people who just did not want that breakup, right? But he did try to show how she was regretful, how she cried, the emotions that were behind it. He's good at this. So now we go to this speech. Well, if you're a Nathan fan, I'm telling you, you were probably cheering because it needed to be said. And then they kiss. I'm going to talk about the kiss, okay? But before I do, I wanted to see what it was. Robin said Erin did a fantastic job in that scene. Yes, the Elizabeth and Nathan scene was beautifully written. The part where she declares what she has to say to him. Did Elizabeth really say thank you for waiting for me? For waiting for me? Because she said the same thing to Lucas. Correct me if I'm wrong. Cindy, you can ask the experts out there. I'm not gonna grab into that, but she kind of did. E should have had a conversation like that with Lucas. Okay, Marjorie. When they were breaking up, they kind of thought that it was written that she did kind of have that conversation, but there's never going to be another conversation like that, because someone else was saying that in season 10, because had there been in the beginning, when like she was there by his side, they showed a lot of them together and being friends, but we don't really see that now. And that's because they were trying to advance the storyline. This is in their eyes. I'm not saying it's executed properly. The showrunner was trying to use that to, cause angst between Elizabeth and Nathan. So we don't really see them together. If Elizabeth had that kind of a declaration with Lucas, how many Lucas fans would have hung on every word and a thread of hope that they could get back together? And that's why they didn't do it, because they do not want to go in that direction, and they want to make it clear that they are not a couple. And if they had done something like that in season 10, I'm telling you, people would be, whoa, they said blah, blah, blah. Lillian, you don't remember her saying, thank you for waiting for me? She did say that, she did say it. She did in a way say, thank you for waiting for me. She did, but not exactly like that. And she also said that to Lucas. So yeah, I know. Elizabeth did tell Lucas on the bridge. Yes, I know, but they're talking about what she was saying to Nathan. I still would have loved Elizabeth and Lucas to remain together. However, time for us to move on. For sure, that scene was well done. It was. It was beautifully written. She said, thanks for waiting for me on the bridge. We know we're not talking about the bridge. We're talking about when she was talking to Nathan. She was going through the whole process, and that, it's not that he waited for her. It's just that he just couldn't give his heart away to anyone else. So that was beautiful. I want to talk about the kiss. This for me is touchy, because I always say that we talk about characters, we talk about scenes, and we don't talk about the actors. We don't pick them apart. We don't say negative things about them. Writing is different. A writer, I can critique your writing. You know what I mean? I'm not going to say you're talentless because none of them are. They wouldn't have the job that they do. Some have more talent than others. Some have it, a knack for it. But that's a different story. But I am going to talk about the actors. So I want to put that out there. And there are going to be people who are going to send me hate mail. And I get it. But I'm going to show you something. I love that after her speech, she mumbled, say something, please. I know, because she put herself so out there. And I thought I said this from the beginning of the season. Not that she needs to make him work for it. And I mean, had to make her work for it. And like, he wasn't interested, not that, but she really, really needed to say, I'm sorry. I like the way Peter did the segment shots during the kiss scene. Nathan's hands on her waist and the intensity crescendo of this. Yeah, I didn't find it intense at all. That's what I want to talk about, but let's go there. So I'm going to show you something. I'm going to go here and I'm going to go here. Okay, first of all, this, I love this. I forgot to say this. She cries. She's in his arms. He holds her and she cries because she knows that she's blown it, and there's something that they have there for each other, but it's done. It's over. This is it. This is their they're done, okay? Who knows if they give them a story arc. Someone's like, "Oh, she could be pardoned. They're not from the United States. There's not even real governors there. She's going back to the States, I'm sure, because she did bad stuff there. Who knows, unless they write it, whatever, but in my mind, that's what's happening. All right, let's move on. Okay. You can't really see this, and I borrowed this, I think, from Kathy, but the lineup of their lips, and I'm talking about them as actors, so you could see it here. It comes out better. If you pay attention, you will see how it's lip over lip. And Erin is an exceptional on-screen acting kisser. She's like Tyler Hines. He's exceptional. Chris is exceptional. So they have this method where they open, and it's actually a real method. It's a class that you take on how to kiss on screen. So they are like lip over lip, and she opens her mouth, nothing disgusting. She opens her mouth and he does the same. And then they are like lip over lip and they turn to the side. It's actually very realistic. It's very beautiful. When these two finally kissed for the first time, Erin had said they talked about it, how they were going to go about it. And she said they wanted to be like touchy-feely, hands all over each other, like a nervous energy, because it had built and built and built and built so many times that they had like a grand passion for each other, a vibe. I felt it because I think that Chris, and this does not mean anything's going on, I think that Chris and Erin they would be great in another movie together. They have an energy that they feed off of each other. Okay, now, let's say, go to here. Now, you could kind of see it a little bit. Erin carried the kiss. She did the whole same thing that she normally does. But unfortunately for Kevin, he has like a little fish, like let me nibble on your lip kind of kiss. And even when he's kissing in his other movies, I see this. So to me, it's like an awkward kiss. It's like I don't know. It's not a grand, not that it had to be this grand passion, and it's a different kind of kiss because she says you feel like home. So they're kissing like a couple that's kissed a million times. They're not going to be jumping and groping at each other. She's got her arms around him, like you said. His hands were at her waist, and he pulls her in. All of it is comfortable but beautiful and sweet. That's the kind of kiss that was going here. But I'm sorry, I want them to improve. I don't want the nibble on the lip. I want a kiss. So it doesn't look so awkward to me. I don't know how you all feel, but I'm taking this down. This is for later. Let me see. We got lots of things that are here. Deb says, I will say that Nathan has learned to kiss better than his previous movies. You mean Kevin? But that's because Erin is a really good kisser. She carried that kiss. Ian and kiss. Why did they focus on Nathan's hands? That was confusing to me. 3 seconds of a kiss and the rest is hands. That wasn't confusing because he pulled her in. He put his hands on her because he loves her. It's a different kind of a kiss. It wasn't like this big grand passion. It was, I love you. He's getting to touch her. You know what I mean? He's pulling her into his body. I think that's like, I love you. I'm taking you all in. I'm with you, Roxanne, about Elizabeth's kiss. Okay. Her comment to Nathan about always being honest was surprising to me. I know, you know how that goes. I'm just wondering about this kiss. I'm sorry, but I wasn't impressed. Okay. And I think that's because maybe there'll be an improvement. A lot of people weren't impressed. I get it. It was sweet, but just meh. You're right. It was sweet. You're right. And you can't invent chemistry. Now, there are going to be Kevin McGarry fans that are going to have pitchforks on my lawn, but I'm just being honest. I'm not saying that he is not a good actor. I'm not saying that. Sorry, Kevin. Sorry. You and you and Aaron have to practice more, okay? Kissing scenes can be very awkward for many actors. Lucas and Elizabeth kissing scenes were so believable in a chemistry way, and hoping Elizabeth and Nathan work on it as Elizabeth is amazing. You are correct, and I agree with that. Yes. Not to digress, but let me say this. I don't know if you ever watched Bridgerton, but Luke Newton and Luke and Nicola are friends, have been friends for like 5 years. And they've been on a big whirlwind tour sharing all kinds of stuff. And they said, their scenes were very intimate. They had to show each other what they look like as friends naked. Okay. They had to they practiced kissing before they had to go on set because they are such good friends. And they said, you think it looks good, and when they were all into it, they went to go look at it on camera, and they're like, yeah, it doesn't look good. It's like your faces are all smushed, you're doing it the wrong way. And they're like, oh, okay. So they take a step back and practice again. And these are people that have exceptional chemistry, and they're really good friends. They have chemistry off of the screen. They're not a couple, they just are touchy-feely friends with chemistry. So even they had to work at it. And I just think you need to work at it a little, okay? People have been waiting for you to kiss. I'm going to move on. Okay. Thank you, Ro. Agree. The fish kiss just didn't do it for me. Oh, well, the other parts were nice. The parts of the holding and the touching and all that. And I know. And who knows? It could grow on us. Nathan fans are going to come for me, but I'll survive. Okay. So let's move on. I said a lot of kissing words already. Okay. So now, in between, before the kiss, was Elizabeth writing in her journal. And as she's writing in her journal, I'm just looking over here. Okay, as she's writing in her journal, she says that she's just happy that all loved ones are at home and they're safe. Now, this is after all of the drama that happened. And they did these wonderful little montage scenes where you see Elizabeth with her son and they're having dinner. And you saw Nathan come home to Allie and she meets him on the step and she hugs him. You get to see the Canfields and you get to see that beautiful scene with Lily and Faith, and she was missing her grandma and counting the stars. So Joseph would make this candle-like thing, and he goes, the candle's dangerous. So we got Ned, who's like, Mr. Scientist. He hooks it up to make it more electrical, and the stars are all around the room, and you see them having mother-daughter moments. There was just a lot of beauty, and we saw all the different people. But we did not see Henry and Lucas, and they just had a very traumatic moment. We didn't see Jack either, I don't think. Jack, I meant to say, sorry, Bill. We didn't see Bill either, but what about Lucas and Henry? They could have just did like a father-son or brotherly hug, and we didn't see that. And I don't know if it got cut out or what, but it made a lot of us sad, but that's okay. I know. That made me sad. That was so sad that Lucas was not shown, so we know he was all alone. I know. I was so disappointed in the second half of season 3, Bridgerton. Oh, Lisa, that's a whole other story. I want to do it so bad and open up a whole can. Or let us talk about that later. Just contact me. We'll talk about it. This made me sad because Lucas had no one to share a hug with. They could have at least had him having a drink with Henry. Yes, I know. Or even the three of them. Bill got hit, right? At least the three of them, I don't know. Just whatever. Question, do you think they have an intimacy coach on When Calls the Heart? As I'm not sure based on the show's overall concept. Yes, they have intimacy coaches all over the place now. Elizabeth just negates Lucas, the man who sacrificed everything to save the town. Susan, that's a comment for my Lucas Bouchard night. We're going to overlook that one. I'm sorry. I know. I'm not saying you're not right, but we're not going to focus on that here. Yes, they could have shown them having a drink. Yes. Yep. Yes, that would have been nice. Okay, so the other thing that I think I wanted to address was, let's see. Hold on. I forgot. Oh, I know what I wanted to talk about. Let's talk about some predictions, okay? So, do not hurt me. Do not come for me, okay? I know. Let's see. Isn't the same? Let me see this. Isn't it the same with Kevin, Kayla, Aaron, and Ben? They all are good friends who vacation together and dine together often. Could their friendship be altering their on-screen chemistry to a degree? No, because you could be friends like Nick and Luke are and have off the chart chemistry. It's just they don't know, they don't vibe together. For me, people love Kevin McGarry, so they're going to want him in everything he does. I've seen people love Chris in every single thing he does. He is a really good actor, but it's not like he blows every like is like I don't know, blows up everything he's ever done. He's better in some things than others, but he's a good actor. Kevin McGarry, they people get blindsided by who they like and that they just are excited to see that they're there. I'm just taking a step back and it's not a strong suit and they need to fix up the kissing a little. That's it. That's all I'm going to say. So anyway, here are some of my predictions. All right. Let me remove that for a little bit, Emerald, but good thinking, Emerald. Thank you. All right. So this is from episode 1 and this is the handkerchief that Elizabeth had in her hand and it sailed to the floor. Now, people, I'm just having a good time here. I don't have an inside source. I'm just having fun and I want to see what you say with this. So here's my brain. Here's where I go. It got left there. As a matter of fact, it was forgotten. Bill came in, pulled up a chair and there, glide. So I'm thinking, does this mean anything? Is it a metaphor that I miss? And many people have shared many things. Now I hear that they get some news that can cause some angst for Lucas and Elizabeth. And then I'm sorry, not Lucas and Elizabeth, Nathan and Elizabeth. And then I remember the story of Brian Bird trying to explain. Everybody was asking him, and everybody had all these 42 different reasons why they had to break up Elizabeth, why Nathan and Elizabeth were going to become a couple. And at one point, he said, we had to do it. And he alluded, and that's when people were like, oh, someone's leaving the show. And it wasn't that at all. So I'm thinking that. Okay. And you got back to the handkerchief. So what if Jack is not dead? And Jack has been trying to recover. Maybe he has a facial distortion, physical things are going on. I don't know. Maybe his memory, for whatever reason, he happens to be at the big hospital and he's walking through the hallways and he notices that handkerchief on the floor while Lucas is in bed trying to fight for his life. And when he notices the handkerchief, he takes it because it's a trigger for him. Maybe it's something he gave to Elizabeth. It's something he finds from his past. And then I always say, that's actually Daniel Lissing in his boots. Those boots come a walking back to town. Now, let's think about that. I remember when Aaron said, oh, it's now we have to give back. We gave all that romance to the Lucas fans. Now we got to give back to the Nathan fans. And I'm thinking, that's weird. You got to be pastor. I thought that was weird. But I was like, maybe because they're only going to get a little bit of whatever because in comes Jack. Oh my God, let me get rid of that. So that's me having a little fun. Roxanne, I would be done for good. That would be insane. Yes. Okay. The kiss was 6 years in the making, just saying. Yes, Sarah, I know. Martha's saying, wow. Yes, I hope so. Roxanne, I'd be done with the show. I think Jack will come back at N and E's wedding. Oh my God, no. That would make the show a true soap opera. They always have people coming back from the dead. This would be incredible and interesting enough. Daniel Lissing was shooting a movie in Vancouver this year. Oh my God, that would be awesome. That would okay, yeah. Yes, 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 yes. Okay. That's just me fooling around, but let's talk for real now, okay? Fiona's going to be back. We know she's in season 12 and she's going to be there for May's wedding. And I got a question. What do you think that means? What do you think that means? Hargraves comes with Jack to Hope Valley in a cliffhanger. I don't know. I've heard some other stuff while you're all trying to tell me what Kayla being back could mean. I heard that they really want to have Lori come back, and Lori's been nursing him, but I don't think so because Lori wouldn't hold that secret all that time, but who knows? Lucas, I would love that. Lucas has already moved on, so he is safe. I know. Hey, Roxanne, did you see the US Weekly interview on YT when Aaron and Kevin? The interviewer said Brian back in October mentioned that there might be room for Lori. Yes, yes, I did. I did. I know. That's what I just said. What are your thoughts of characters dying in the finale? Is that just that's just nobody's they won't kill anybody in the show. They won't. They won't. They won't. They will never do that. It was a one-time deal and they put a disclaimer on it and talked about how sad it was before this show even came on. You might not want to have kids. They would not do it. So, Carrie, do you because Chris said there was a spark of something, just a spark. So what if, Fiona's back and there's a spark I'm not people get upset about this, but I'm just saying. And I was also saying, she's the kind of girl that is like she should do a grand gesture. So whoever Lucas gets with should have a grand gesture. But let's not just talk about Lucas. Molly, we should be fighting for Molly to have a love interest. And the love interest does not have to be like a man love interest, but something that fulfills her, like Faith with Lily. That's a beautiful love interest, a different kind. Molly needs something. Okay. I feel like she's our forgotten. I know her daughter came back and all of that, but she's forgotten. And I need her to have something. And I need for, Henry has had wonderful things happen. I need for and Bill, he's crotchety, he's had wonderful things happen. But Molly and Kayla, well, not Kayla, Molly and Fiona, they need something along with Lucas. We don't just have to be hyper focused on Lucas, Lucas, Lucas. The other two, I need something. They need something. Um, yes, they do. They do. How do you know, Carrie? Did I miss it? I made myself have a double chin. I missed it. Had a lot going on in my life. I'm going to go back and look, Carrie. Where can I find that? They have been lots of talk about Lori coming back, so we will see. I have to tell you that Brian Bird always says he would love to have her back, and he explained why. He said we always want her back, but it's a legal reason why she can't, and it's out of their hands. I think that Fiona will bring a girlfriend back with her, and that new person will be the spark. Oh, that Lucas has. No to Fiona. Oh, okay, Nikki, maybe. Molly with Bill. We always wanted that, but that didn't happen. Yes, the spark seeing Fiona return and Lucas is needing someone to talk to, and it was so comfortable with Fiona. I know. Yes. And Carrie, that's some new info. Those two dance. Okay, I love it. Molly and Bill have a spark. I know. Henry and Abigail together. We've always wanted that. We know that. And we know how that goes. Fiona should be a Lucas advisor. Yes. And I'm not surprised if that's what they do. Henry's worked with her. He's building his own new cabinet. Do you remember when he said to him, because you backed out, Henry said you backed out of the deal. Thank God Edwin's gone because they weren't a good match. He only cared about getting reelected. What I'm like, they're afraid you're gonna like fall back on your other promises or your other things that you have in works. I don't have my words tonight. And she would be great. She would bring a whole new perspective, the female vote. She's smart. They work together on the oil wells. I love it. Love it. Oh, where is that? Is that a prediction or are they dancing? That's what they're asking. I know. Okay, Fiona can be an advisor to Lucas, but not a love interest. Nikki, whatever. You keep saying that. That's you. Whatever. Let's see. We don't even know. It hasn't even been developed. I could also live with Fiona and Lucas. Okay, just a predict. Carrie, I was all excited. I thought they danced. I do know that Elizabeth and Nathan's first date is a wedding, and that will be cool. We'll get to see them dance some more. I'm not sure about Lucas and Fiona together. Oh, Lucas is not Kathy. Lucas is not traditional. No, he's progressive. I think he's progressive. Fiona has worked with Henry too. Yeah. So anyway, I like that she'll be on the team. I'm not saying that they're going to be together. I'm just wondering what her spot is going to be in the show. I've always thought Lucas and Fiona would be great together. I like Molly and Bill. Sandra, I thought that very early on. If he wasn't going to go with Elizabeth, I thought that those two would be good, but I don't know. Let's see where that goes. we know that Lucas is at the wedding. And I'd be sad if he wasn't, because it's Mike. Mike is his right hand running they ran the Queen of Hearts together. Yeah. Okay. Fiona could be Lucas's front woman. Maybe a friendship that leads to romance. Who knows? I don't know. I really do hope that her place is, because she's so big political now. I know she has the shop, but I like her being political, and I think that would be a good little fit for her. And also with the newspaper, helping out, with something that goes along with the newspaper. Yeah, maybe Fiona asks Lucas to dance. Maybe. Ro, I meant personally. He dances very formally and has formal manners. Oh, yes, 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 he is. But he's progressive. He's just a well-bred man. That's all. Yeah. Yep. Fiona would give Jeannette a run for her money. Jeanette's going to the jail, the popo. She's bye-bye. Yes. Okay. All right. Okay. Well, friends, this has been fun. Very fun. Um, and we're at the end. Next week, my guests will be two fans of the show. It will be Kathy, who is a dear friend of mine and very much a Lucas Bouchard fan, and my friend Karen, who is a very good friend of mine, and she's a retired teacher from Massachusetts. And she is like a middle of the road kind of thing. She likes, from before, and I'm not going to speak for her, but I know in our past when we talked, she liked the Elizabeth and Nathan. She has a different perspective. So I like when we're not all on the same page and we're all going to talk about the whole season. So I hope you join us next Monday. After Monday, I'm not finished. I know they're going to start filming, but I am doing everything in my power to talk to a few more people about the season. I love when the season's over and they could just freely talk about so much, but I'll keep you posted. Okay? All right, everyone. Thank you. I'll see you next Sunday for the Lucas Bouchard Fireside Chat. Yes, and that person told me I had to move on talking about Lucas, but that's all we talk about on Sunday nights. All right. Thank you, Roxanne. You're welcome. Sounds good. I'm still praying for your dad. Thank you, Michelle. Can't wait until next week. I know we don't want to wish our life away, though. All right. Yes, a fun podcast. Thank you, and absolutely love hearing everyone's thoughts. Me too. And Carrie, I really hope they do get to dance. I wish the finale was 2 hours. I'm going to feel so rushed happening in just 1 hour. I believe it. I hear you. Lucas is one of the groomsmen in the preview. That makes sense. I love that. Thank you, Roxanne. Good night, everyone. Good night. All right. Good night.